Get the new concealable NIJ Level 3A certified Kevlar armor bundle from Fortress Survival, LLC. Ultimate protection for the ultimate prepper. 100% made in America. Lightweight, weighing only 5 pounds. Cool mesh interior, 6-month carrier warranty, 5-year ballistic warranty, 100% Kevlar 12x14 ballistic panels. Provide maximum coverage for maximum protection. One size fits all. The most affordable Level 3A American-made Kevlar set on the market. Order today at Fortress Survival, LLC. High quality performance, hard hitting. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. It is Friday, October 2nd, 2015. In today's video, you'll learn the truth about the Oregon shooting. I'll reveal all of it to you. And this is how much research I've done on the story. Zilch. This much. I've only seen what's hit the mainstream media headlines. At a very convenient time, when probably the most embarrassing story to hit the news wires in years just happened to hit. This story on Syria, this gross embarrassment where the West has been positioned, really a light has just been shined on it for the gross atrocities that they've committed in this part of the world. With a recent meeting at the UN between Vladimir Putin, President of Russia, and Barack Hussein Obama. Now conveniently the narrative is changing. We have all of this media attention on this shooting, which is a tragic event. Now I normally don't talk or don't like to talk about these shootings because I don't want to draw any attention, any more attention on the killer or the tragedy. Again, because there's a reason that the mainstream media deploys this kind of narrative and cherry picks these types of tragic events, usually having to do with our children or kids as a part of a distract campaign. Smoke and mirrors. Again, when the government is doing this or something embarrassing like Syria is going on over here, run this story. Put all your attention and all your focus and your eyes over here, which is exactly what's happening. So I'm not discounting the tragedy. I'm not discounting those people that died. My heart goes out to them and their family members. It's absolutely tragic. But I have a question for you. Why isn't there a giant spotlight shined on the tragedy that makes up hundreds of thousands, arguably millions of people dead in the Middle East as a direct consequence and result of U.S. illegal intervention? Countless war after war, whether or not it's in Iraq, Afghanistan, or now this covert operation that makes up Syria, which is now out in the open. Putin, back in the old days, you couldn't watch these video clips. You couldn't hear what other world leaders were saying. But now, with the advent of this new media and the internet, you can actually pay attention and listen to what Vladimir Putin has to say and how he's positioned America through this brilliant chess game, really, again, 70 moves ahead of Obama at all times, has shined a giant light on the bold-faced lies that the U.S. is responsible for. And as a direct consequence of all this, hundreds of thousands, arguably millions of people dead. It is widely publicized now, today, I mentioned this yesterday, that up to 250,000 or more people are dead in Syria just over the past couple of years as a result of this meddling. Now, the mainstream media in the U.S. and Obama blames this on Assad. And nobody's saying, and I'm not arguing, that there's not part of the Middle East that have always been extremely dangerous, that are extremely dangerous, where there's real radical terrorists on the ground. But what I am arguing, and which is an absolute truth if you're educated and you actually have done your homework, the Middle East is far worse today than it ever was before the U.S. had intervened. In Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, it is a cesspool today. And it's not even my opinion. It's not even an argument, really. It's just the truth. Even our own government explains to us and fearmongers to us on a daily basis that the new radical element that makes up ISIS, of course created and crafted and funded and armed by the CIA, these moderate terrorists on the ground that turn into radical terrorists and then end up chopping people's heads off, fearmonger to us on a daily basis how things are worse than they were before. So again, I'm not making any of this stuff up. And also, these smoke and mirror distraction campaigns, like the Oregon shooting, are used to push Obama's agenda. Again, they cherry pick stories to push an agenda. So what is Obama's agenda? It is absolutely 100% clear, even before he took office, that his agenda was gun control, that he wants to take away the guns, confiscate the Second Amendment here in the United States of America. And it's why constantly, through the mainstream media and the talking head puppet that makes up Barack Obama and the corporate interests that he represents, is why he always blames guns for these tragic shootings.
Somehow this has become routine. The reporting is routine. My response here at this podium ends up being routine. The conversation in the aftermath of it, we've become numb to this.
But he never mentions the fact that all of these tragedies, all these tragic shootings occur in gun-free zones. You see, I could make an argument that we need to get rid of gun-free zones immediately, that we should have armed guards at every school, ready and armed, locked and loaded, to blow these psychopath killers' heads off before they can hurt any more children. I could also make an argument that we should ban public schooling, because public schools are extremely dangerous. After all, look at all the children that are dying as a result of these public environments and the public schooling system. It's one of the reasons I could argue that every child should be homeschooled, because being in public and at a public school is dangerous. You see, this is all a part of Obama's agenda, and they will use events like this and shine a spotlight on, say, a dozen or so people that died. And I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm not discounting the tragedy. Yet nobody talks about the greater horror. 250,000 people dead in Syria as a direct result and consequence of U.S. meddling in this part of the world. There's social experimentation to overthrow governments in places like Egypt or Iraq through Operation Iraqi Freedom. And now their attempt at ousting Bashar al-Assad in Syria. I mean, how many children out of those 250,000 people are dead? How many women out of those 250,000 people are dead? Does any of this register with you? Because when I hear the number, it's almost unfathomable. When somebody says 250K people dead, it's like, well, what? Like 250 people dead? You know, it just sounds like this phony, fictitious number. You know, I bet it would be a lot more meaningful if I ran a highlight reel of every child's face across this video right now. And every man, woman, and child, mother and father that are dead as a result of what the U.S. has been actively engaging in over the past decade, arguably longer. You know, it's such convenient timing that the mainstream media can use this story to draw away attention from a greater catastrophe, a greater horror, a greater humanitarian crisis. You know, some of you might say, well, Obama has to make tough decisions, you know, so if he decides to drone strike a school of children in Yemen or something like that, that's just something that he has to do. Well, is he God? How and why does he get to play God? You know, I'm surprised that Barack Obama didn't announce some kind of executive order yesterday. I mean, he's committing and instituting executive actions all the time. Anytime he sees something that he doesn't like, he just does whatever he wants. I mean, that's the reason we're in Syria, folks. There was no congressional approval for the drone strikes and the murder of civilians that have been taking place over the last year or so. That was announced by the White House and Barack Obama just about a year ago. Last September in 2014. People thought that this stuff was crazy when I talked about it several years ago, and now it's all happening in real life. You know, we need to wake up as Americans, as people, all of us around the world, as human beings, and realize these are great horrors and atrocities occurring throughout the world right now. We need to shine a spotlight on Obama and his drone strikes and his illegal invasions of these countries, just like we shined a spotlight really after the fact with George W. Bush. Kids are dying. Mothers are dying. Fathers are dying. Civilians are dying. Why? You know, realistically, we can't even compare 250,000 Syrians dead to the few kids that tragically died yesterday at Oregon. We can't compare some estimates that say 1 million plus people have died as a result of the U.S. invasion of Iraq, civilians, to a dozen or so kids that died yesterday. It is not even comparable. It is not a fair comparison. It's a tragedy. It's disgusting. It's disheartening. And it's the truth. Again, the administration Our intelligence here in the United States of America, our president, uses these types of events to take away the spotlight from what really matters, to take away from this embarrassment and these evident lies that have been committed by the United States in their illegal attack of these independent sovereign nations in the Middle East, to take the camera away so we lose focus of what really matters, that we lose focus of Syria and the gross atrocity that has made up hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people dead in just that country. 250,000 friggin' people slaughtered. And the people don't ask any questions. They don't demand answers from their politicians. Nobody's in the president's face with a microphone asking, "Hey, Mr. President, what do you think about 250,000 people dead?" I'm Christopher Green. Get this video out everywhere, make it viral, hard-hitting and in your face, and click the link below to support our sponsor.